HG Christie Limited, our lead sponsor, is the Bahamas' oldest and most established real estate brokerage, founded in 1922, offering services across all sectors with a legacy of excellence. Christie's International Real Estate is a global luxury real estate network representing premier properties across more than 50 countries. John Christie is managing broker of HG Christie Limited and a Master's Circle honoree, recognized globally for leadership and excellence in Bahamian real estate. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome John Christie.
Hello everyone, I'm Philip Hillier.
And I'm Anya Moussas.
And we are the Hillier team. We are the top producing team of HG Christie in the Bahamas, and we have been top producers for 7 years in a row. Anya's going to give you a market update in terms of what's happening in the Bahamas real estate market.
Well, I'm happy to report that it's been a great 2025, and 2026 we expect it to be just as busy. The demand is extremely high right now, we would say, and inventory is low. So we all know that that's the formula for a busy year. We are seeing activity across all price ranges from 500,000 to, I would say, 50 million.
Overall, the market has remained steady and active with continued interest from both local and international investors. Many buyers are looking for properties that offer a good value, strong location, and long-term lifestyle. Potential in particular continue to see strong demand for waterfront homes, beachfront condominiums, canal-front properties, which remain some of the most desirable areas in real estate of the island. One of the key advantages that attract buyers to Freeport is tax-free environment. Unlike many other destinations, there is no annual property tax, which makes owning property here especially appealing for international buyers and investors looking for a second home or vacation property. Another important factor is our market pricing is relatively competitive to other islands. When you look at what you can buy here for the price, it is hard to find on another island that offer the same value. The location, the ocean views, and the lifestyle make Grand Bahama a very special opportunity. Buyers today are very informed and carefully compare properties before making decisions. They lean towards homes that are well maintained, renovated, or new, and priced competitively. They also tend to generate some interest in properties that require updates, but then they expect the price to reflect the potential renovation cost. They are drawn to Grand Bahama for its beautiful beaches, relaxed lifestyle, in long-term value, and the friendly and welcoming people. We also see positive growth of tourist arrivals, growing infrastructure, renew and new investments on the island. We are also seeing the increase of confidence in the real estate market. Grand Bahama is not only a beautiful place to live, but also a smart place to invest, because opportunities like this, with these prices and those views, are becoming very rare anywhere else. So if you're looking for more information or invest in Grand Bahama Island, you can always reach out to me and I'll be happy to assist you. Eva Melor, here in Grand Bahama Island.
Hello, my name is Crystal Rogers, and I'm a real estate professional with HG Christie on the island of Exuma. The real estate market in Exuma is a real bright spot in the Bahamas right now. Things are strong and steady, with plenty of interest from both international and local buyers, keeping things moving at all different price points. There isn't a ton of inventory out there, so when a property is priced right from the start, it gets noticed. We're seeing well-priced homes and land get immediate attention and go under contract pretty quickly. Of course, overpriced listings will sit for a while, but anything priced correctly, especially if it's near the water, is selling. For buyers, Exuma has become a go-to destination. People from around the world are drawn to the incredible natural beauty and privacy, and they see the value here compared to more crowded islands. Many are looking for a vacation home that can also bring in some rental income or a piece of land to hang on to as a long-term investment. It's not just international buyers though. Locals are actively buying as well, looking for primary homes and smaller investment properties, which really helps keep the entire market healthy. All in all, prices are holding firm and the outlook for Exuma is incredibly positive. If you're thinking about selling, the buyers are definitely here. And if you're looking to buy, Exuma offers that perfect mix of lifestyle and investment potential in one of the best spots in the entire region.
We are excited to talk further about this at the upcoming conference.
Yes, we will be attending as panelists on the 18th of April, and we look forward to seeing you there. There'll be bankers, developers, and government officials all in attendance to be able to answer all your real estate questions and help you with real estate inquiries and searches, etc. So we look forward to seeing you there. Can't wait.
I'd like to thank Darren before we start for putting this together. He's done a great job. Very visionary person, bringing, it's well needed. It's never been done before. So we're very proud and happy that we're doing this and helping to support BRX. So I've got a tough act to follow. We have great agents around the Bahamas, around 60 agents around. We're the largest company in the Bahamas. And I just want to give you a brief update on our market. Our market right now is very strong. It's been almost as strong as it's ever been. It's going from strength to strength right now. And it's not just in Nassau, it's not just in the islands that we saw, but pretty much all over the Bahamas. It's better than it was. The only places where the market is a little slower are the places where there's not very much airlift, like Cat Island has one flight in a day. Long Island, one flight in a day. So without airlift, you don't have enough people coming in. You can't rent the Airbnbs. You can't drive the market that way. But pretty much in general, we are very strong. But what I want to do is just talk about a brief history of the real estate market, which some of you would be aware of, but a lot of you wouldn't. But starting in the 60s and up to today's date. So in the 60s, the Bahamas had a real boom in real estate. We'd just been growing from the 40s after the war. We got going and everything was peaking in the 60s. Grand Bahama was going very well. Freeport was flying along. All these developments were popping up in Exuma and all these other places. And there was direct flights. There was a flight from New York that came and landed here and went on to Rock Sound. There was hotels all over Luther. The Bahamas was booming at the time. When we had the change of government in '67, there was a change of policy that reflected the real estate market. The Movable Properties Act came in, and that meant that it basically restricted non-Bahamians buying land. It made it very difficult. We had that regime in place for about 20 years, and it basically held down the real estate market. Private islands could not be sold to non-Bahamians, period. They put a moratorium on that from the drug days. So it was, those were sort of tough times. There was a few companies around, a few agents. People made some money, they kept going, but the market was small. And what happened in 1992 is the FNM Ingram government got elected. They changed the policy. They got rid of the Immovable Properties Act, and then they actually went on a tour. They went all over the world, to all the main places, London, New York, South America, Europe, and said, hey, the Bahamas is open. We're open. Come to the Bahamas. It's better in the Bahamas. Come on down. And those tours that were businesses and governments together, those tours actually got people in. And one of the big people that got in 1994 was Saul Kerzner, and they redid Atlantis. And that was sort of triggered everything off, and they started rebuilding, and that was part of the regrowth of the Bahamas in the real estate market. And then we steadily grew all the way through the 90s. We had a little blip with the dot-com bubble that went down a little bit, but we basically grew and grew and grew and grew until 2008. And I don't know if most people will remember that in 2008, we had a huge worldwide crash. The real estate market crashed, the stock market crashed, everything crashed. And it crashed here too, but I liken the story in 2008. In October, the stock market crashed, and everyone's like, what's going on? They're going, and they just said, we got to make it to the end of the year. We got to make it to the end of the year. Okay, go get to the end of the year, get to there. January 1st, 2000, or 2001st, what was it, 1999, 2009, sorry, January 1st, 2009, it was like silence. It was also like, some of you might remember cartoons like Roadrunner. And some older people on cartoons, so the Roadrunner would be running around, and he'd go flying off a cliff, and he'd be running. Oh yeah, we're running, and all of a sudden he realizes he's not on. There's no ground on him, and whoosh, then he'd fall down. But anyway, that was our market. We basically we crashed, and from 2009. It was, rocky years. I remember talking to brokers at the time, saying, wow, it might be 5 years or something till we get out of this. Then it was more than 5 years. It was 2000, it kind of slowly went up all the way until about 2016, 2017, when we finally got rid of the feel of the recession. And then it started picking up, and all the companies started making money, and we're all making up record years going, wow, this is great. This is really, really great. This market's going along. And then we got visited by Mr. COVID. And COVID's like, and we're all like, oh, what's going on? What's going on? No one knew what to do. We're all just like, oh my God. And so what happened was we all, we all locked down. We did our thing. And the good news is that people didn't stop buying real estate. It slowed everything down a little bit for that 1 year. We didn't have an amazing year. We didn't have a bad year. But what we didn't know is what was coming is this major juggernaut that just went. That's literally how it felt. And in 2021, 2022, the world discovered the Bahamas. Billionaires discovered the Bahamas. People realized they could work from anywhere in the world, and you realized that being locked in a city or even locked in your country was not a great thing. And all these places were locked down, and they realized that the Bahamas was a great place to be. We had good interconnectivity. We had direct flights from London. We had U.S. Customs here. Everything was just a great place. And all these places in 2021, Canada was locked down. Britain was locked down. I actually had to write a letter to the British government on behalf of a British billionaire asking for permission for him to be able to fly in his private jet to the Bahamas to look at real estate. And that's a true story. I mean, it's hard to believe now that they were, that's how they were locked down. And so, yeah, so that's, it was it was just a crazy time in the market. And we had, those two, 2021 to 2022 were incredible years. And I to myself said, well, this market can't sustain itself. It can't. This got it. What goes up, because usually what goes up comes down. It goes up and down. But this market was just, ever since then, it was just flying. And it's evened itself out a little bit, but it hasn't come down. And the reason why it hasn't is because the market is strong and the supply and demand is strong. There's limited supply, so demand is quite high. And then also now we have further to that, we have a new event which has happened in the Middle East, which is called that Iran war. And with the Iran war, one of our competitors for expats moving away from non-dom places like Britain or anywhere in Europe, as Dubai was a huge destination. One of our competitors, they would either decide, let me see, I can go to Switzerland, I can go to Monaco, I can go to Dubai, I can go to the Caribbean, maybe the Bahamas. And now, you go to Dubai or anywhere in the Middle East, they realize that bombs can just drop on your head. Literally, they're thinking, oh, shoot. And people have changed their minds. We've seen people, no, Dubai is no longer on their list, and the Bahamas is shining much brighter. And I think we can take advantage of this, because this will not, it won't just be while the war is going on. It will linger in people's minds. Say, when is the next time there's going to be a flashpoint? When is the next time that Iran's going to start lobbing bombs over into Dubai? So that's a really important thing. So that's going to stay there. What's important for us in the Bahamas now is to keep the jurisdiction the way it is and our tax neutral status, because we're going to see more and more people here, and we want to keep driving them in. The more people that come here, the more money the government makes. So we want to keep focus on that. But so that's the one other thing. I don't want to take too much of your time, but one other thing that drove the market and why it's doing so well now is that in you know, in the last 5 years, since COVID, our MLS system, which in case you don't know, it's the Bahamas multiple listing system, which means where you list with one company and it gets out to every other company around the Bahamas. You list, and that's so you get full coverage. Well, it started about 20 years ago, more or less, and it took a long time for Bahamians to get used to it because in the old days, lawyers would say, don't list exclusively, don't do that, and they would list with 10 brokers, and no one would pay them attention and everything. So anyway, now everyone knows that when you list with one broker, whoever you like, whichever company you like, you list with your best broker you want to work with, and that your listing will get exposure everywhere. So people are doing that. So the MLS is doing very well. And what does it give us now? It gives us real data. We've got data for what prices are selling for. So if you want to list your house, say your townhouse in Sandyport, your agent will go to the seller and go, here's a list of everything that's sold in the past 2 years, look at the size, look at the price, and then you'll know, and then they'll make a recommendation. If you want to sell, then you should price it here. Now, if it's a scarcity of demand, the prices will be up, so maybe they'll price it a little bit higher because the market's going up and there's not much there, but they'll have like 5 or 6 sales, so they know, so that when that agent puts the property on the market at the right price and the buyers are there, you're going to have buyers coming out of the woodwork and you could sell right away. So we now have a real estate market in the Bahamas, which is great. We never had that before. This is in the past 3 or 4 years. It's really come to fruition, and it's an amazing thing. So we really have great sales, and people are listing and selling, you know, $1 million properties within a week because they took the advice of the agent, listed it right, and we have the data now. And so it's something that the Bahamas Real Estate Association should be very proud of because we worked very hard to get there. And now we're here. We have a great real estate market, and that's what today is all about, sharing that real estate market. And so my mouth is really dry, but I'm almost done. I just want to wrap up. I just want to wrap up by just saying a little bit about our company. Like I said, we are the largest real estate company in the Bahamas. We have by far the largest amount of listings around the Bahamas. I think at last I checked this morning, I think we have 547 active listings on the MLS. That's more than double our next competitor on the MLS. We do sell a lot more. In 2026, the number of real estate sales on the MLS is 201, and HGC sold 122. So we're doing pretty good. We like to work with everyone. We are the top company, largest company, and we've worked hard. We've done our best to be here today with Darren and the BRX team. And I'd like to close by saying no one sells more than HGC. Thank you very much.